Welcome to Let's Talk More on Monday, and this is another edition of our Founder to Founder series. If you don't know, my name is Arianna Cruz, and I am the founder of More Magazine. This series is meant to interview female founders in a variety of industries, and today, due to some silly thought in my brain, we are going so behind the scenes. We are sitting in my office right now, which is a mess. But it is crazy how much y'all love behind the scenes. We could not be more behind the scenes right now if I tried. Truly, I don't know how much further we could go behind the scenes. If we were more behind the scenes, we would maybe be ahead of the game. Maybe. I don't know. That what is it? Quantum physics? I don't know if that lines up. That's not my true skill set here, but today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a community Q&A, and it's been a while since we've done a little bit of the origin story, so we are going to kick it in my unorganized office today. I am Jay chillin' in a t-shirt, and with that, let's talk more on Monday. Again, if we haven't met, my name is Arianna. I am the founder, owner, CEO of More Magazine. It is made to make opportunities reachable for everyone, and we do that by creating content to educate, inspire, and call you to action. Your call to action might look different than the person beside you or your friend or whoever else it is, and that's okay. We want to start a conversation. And this founder to founder series truly came from a place of curiosity. I love getting to meet other women in business. I love understanding people's why. I love learning how we can show up and support one another in new and meaningful ways. And while I've gotten to meet so many different female founders, it's blown my mind. It's been incredible, and it's been across every industry. There's some that I had no idea I would even get into or understand in the way that I was able to walk away from it. But today we are going a little bit one-on-one here to talk a little bit more about More, the company, the magazine, now turned media company, and a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. So I have my trusty sticky notes here. If you joined for our most recent pre-launch happy hour, you got to write down affirmations on these sticky notes, and then you got to take an affirmation with you. It was our theme of influence. You were leaving a piece of influence from yourself, and then you were walking away with a piece of influence from someone else. And I have mine that I picked out by my front door. My husband keeps his in his car. I've gotten photos of friends who pop them on the mirror. It's amazing. I love it. And see, that's a call to action. So boom, check, checkmate, done. But I digress. Our first question today is probably the question I get more than any other question, and that is, how did More get started? So we'll go down a memory lane a little bit here. I graduated college in December of 2018, and as I was graduating, I was thinking about the different ways I'd volunteered, and when I'd volunteered with a tutoring program for kids who were in between shelters or in between homes, I had the opportunity to start chatting with some of their parents, and some of the parents heard that I was studying business. And so I started to get a request to help with resumes and just reviewing them. As I was leaving my college education and learning about that ripple, that drop of impact, and how if you help one area of a household, you can help another area of a household. And so while I was super excited to be in this space of supporting students and being someone there for them, being somebody to start dreaming about what's next for them, I realized to set them up for success, I could support the parents in this new way. And they had a ton of volunteers. They have a great program. And I just started showing up. I started showing up to the shelter, working with the site coordinator, working with somebody from the shelter team, and we were supporting parents in this new way of offering resume prep, offering to get them connected with resources like the Excel Center in Indianapolis, and just finding other pathways to whatever success looked like to them. And I think defining that was really, really important to do up front, because everyone had different goals. I mean, everyone always has different goals, but to come in from a place of wanting to help and to serve, you have to know how the people you are helping and serving want to be helped and served. And so that was a really, really cool, I don't know, I don't want to say summer, but my piece of that program lasted for about a summer. And then they ended up building it into something bigger and truthfully better from there. And so I'm answering this question kind of along with the next question, because the other question is why more? Why an acronym? Why did you name your company that? All the things. And in the time of me doing this, I've always, I think, I don't want to say had a calling, but in my family, we've had family members who have suffered from just a variety of different things, because life is hard and it can be hard to navigate different nuances in life and maintain a home base, a shelter, a house, if you will. And so I've always been really called to serving in places that offer second chances and helping people find that second chance and get back on their feet. And so as I was starting this program at the center, I realized there are so many people in so many different metropolitan areas who just need a little something more. And so, being not naive, but very hopeful and optimistic, I made these little tiny cards with my name and support that I might be able to offer. And I aspirationally had written on there, we can love more, do more, help more, be more, whatever it was. And my now husband had seen my cute little Canva design, and he was asking me about it, and he had said, well, what is more? And I was like, just more whatever you need, and serving, and all of these different things. And he's actually the one who coined making opportunities reachable for everyone. And at that time, it was 2019 at this point, didn't have a ton to do with it after the fact. And after that program had officially ended and I had these cards, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was doing yet, and trying to navigate supporting people without a home base while also not being part of different organizations. I don't want to say red tape. There's just a lot of things that I had to do in order to be in all these different places, and also obviously take care of my well-being and safety and things like that. And so I kind of just put it on the back burner for a little bit, but it's something that I have always wanted to come back to and had dreams of at some point. I wanted to figure out a way to use that at some point, but I didn't know quite what that looked like. And so while I was out of school and really learning how to navigate my career and life and all that was coming my way, I had seen this video by Girls, Girls, Girls Media. It was this beautifully, beautifully done video talking about all the different things that we are expected to be or assumed to be as women, and how that compares to all of the things we aspire to be, want to be as ourselves as women, however you want to take that. And in watching that video, I felt so seen. The comments, I obviously wasn't the only person who felt seen. That would be crazy if it was just me. But as I watched that video, I really wanted to do some kind of photo shoot. And in college, I had started getting into the creative scene of creative directing and modeling and just collaborating with different people who have these incredibly beautiful talents. And I was I was honestly in awe as we did that first photo shoot. We were on set and we were writing on our backs, up our arms, all of the things that had either been put on us or assumed about us or talked about us. And it was a really, not humbling, but it was quiet. It was quiet, it was reflective, it was full of thought, because we were on set, and normally when you're on camera or presenting, you want to be your best self. You're being captured. You want to be all of these things, the aspirational part of you, right? Because you're being documented. And in that moment, we were sharing these vulnerable things of words that maybe were not kind, words that maybe did not align with us or who we were in that moment. And they were words that other people had chosen for us. And that was the first part of it. And then the second part was that we wrote all the things down on our fronts of who we do want to be and how we see ourselves. And the words changed from being heavy and dark to being full of life and excited. And it was this really, really cool moment. And so we did this photo shoot inspired by that video. And as we were doing it, I started having a lot of conversations with the women on set. And to accompany that visual story, I included an article. And as I was editing and putting it together, all of these other ideas for articles started coming together, and I had told my friends about it. And so this network of women that I know started asking if they could also share a piece of themselves in whatever this thing was that we were putting together. And so through that, it completely and naturally evolved into our first magazine, which I was going to try to pull it out, but I don't have it with me right now. This is some of our inventory, so past issues, etc., etc. But it was super, super cool. And so issue 1, celebrating women, came out in October of 2020. And within the first 2 weeks of our launch, there was such a huge ask to have a physical copy. And in my mind, I had released this as a digital magazine. It had snowballed so fast already. And I was like, maybe if we keep doing this, then we'll go to print maybe in like year 3 or whatever. And at this point, as I had been brainstorming more of making opportunities reachable for everyone, came back in mind and played a huge piece in this, because as I was putting this together and as I was continuing to learn about all the ways that we can serve, and my mind had been opened up to this whole new world of how we can serve, not in direct service, but as a conduit, as this resource hub, this connecting point for people to resources and people to knowledge, or knowledge to resources, and all these different things. I realized that that's where I live really well in. I think when you are a business owner, you have to learn what you're very good at and what you're not good at. And I think when you are starting a business, what you're really good at is normally something you should do, unless you like a challenge. All the more respect to you. But as I was figuring out what is this more thing that I had done right out of college, and what am I doing now, and I really wanted more to turn into this place of connection, of I see myself, of I'm not alone, because that's how I felt when I watched that original video. And as we released it digitally, we had so much love and so much feedback shared, which was incredible. And I went to work and I was like, if the people want this, I am down to clown. But and we're gonna get a little real here today, because scaling is hard. I am part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem as part of my day job as an entrepreneur, and I'm learning all the different things that go into it. And I am a proud Kelly School of Business girly pop. Going through that, numbers and the finances, I was very, not apprehensive, but very cautiously aware of, because I wanted to make sure that whatever we did, it was still something that would be able to sustain us and wouldn't put me under as the only person who had any skin in the game at that point. And so as we looked to go into print, I was trying to think of all the different things I'd seen other businesses do. And I was like, okay, so we're going to go to print. I have a quote. This is how much we're going to charge. These are the margins I need to make in order to have enough room to charge for shipping, XYZ. And so before I placed the final print order, we did pre-orders, because I needed to know that we would have enough money at least to cover 50% or 75% of that initial print cost. My tax return had already gone towards setting up the website and doing things like that. And I mean, your girl was first year out of college. She was not having all of that disposable income. But I really love this, and I was trying to be strategic with the funds that I had. And so by January 8th, I don't know why I remember the dates, By January 8th, I was figuring out shipping and getting the first round of magazines sent out, and it was a really, really incredible time. It was awesome. It was amazing to start getting DMs and messages from different people who were receiving their magazines and reading it and sharing it and passing it along to other people. And as we did it, the messages of I feel not alone and I feel seen and I feel heard and I know that there's something on the other side of this, or I'm learning and I see myself here and this is where I want to go. Oh, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. And um, every time, as I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs do, every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep doing this. I'm tired. I don't know if anyone cares. I will almost always get a message of connection saying thank you. And I'm always so grateful for those messages because it's bananas how they come at that exact time of uncertainty for me. Okay, before we get into our next question, we're going to take a quick break so I can shout out some of our amazing, amazing partners. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so in 2018, your girl, Arianna, graduated from college and I got to join the impressive alumni network of Kelley School of Business. Since 1974, the Kelley School has been shaping business in Indianapolis with robust academic programs, translational research that addresses grand challenges, and growth focused industry partnerships. Kelley Indianapolis is a vital driver in Central Indiana's talent and workforce development. As an alumna and now business owner, I turn to Kelley Indianapolis for resources and to support students as they navigate their educations and explore future career pathways. Like others in the alumni network, we are proud to offer space for students to leverage new opportunities. The Kelley School of Business Indianapolis doesn't settle for average. They discover, they innovate, and they create business leaders who do the same. That's what makes Kelley Indy's business school for 50 years and counting. Head to kelley.indianapolis.iu.edu to learn more. All right, let's get back to these questions. All right, next question here. What do you do? What do I do? Excellent question. I think I try to figure that out every day. I'm joking. I say that in jest. So, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I do a lot of things. Ironically, I am wearing this cute top that my mom made me that says designer, maker, promoter, accountant, marketer, organizer, a bunch of stuff. You guys don't need to hear me read at a first grade level upside down on the podcast or on YouTube. Thank you so much for still being here. When you are a business owner, and I think a lot of people can hear this and relate to this, when you are getting started, you are doing everything. And I was up at 2 a.m. the day that we were getting ready to send those first rounds of magazines out because I'd hit the wrong button and had maybe accidentally spent $200 on shipping that might be wrong and have to be redone, but then you wouldn't get a refund for like 30 days. I was distressed. And now at this point, we've grown a little bit and I've also just gotten better. I've found easier ways to do things. So I think at the very center of what is it that I do, I learn. I learn because when you know better, you can do better and you grow. Period. I am my own laugh track right now, but period. That is all you can really do. And you can also ask for help. But again, that goes into knowing better, doing better, and growing. And day to day, I'm our point person for our internship program. We have, I think, and I'm very biased because I do it, we have an incredibly robust internship program through our Seek More internship program that started in the summer of 2021. We look to host first-year students who haven't had an internship before, so that we can be a stepping stone on their journey. I am not meant to be the internship that you do after you've done like 5 or 6 of them. I want to be here to, one, get your foot in the door, give you a chance, and I want our internship to be a space where you get to explore and try things and maybe not immediately succeed at things, because I want you to be comfortable with doing maybe not getting it right the first time and feeling like you can still own it and grow from it and learn. Our internship is meant to help develop both professional and personal skills, because I think a lot of the ways you show up for yourself in the workplace can translate into how you show up for yourself in your personal life. This can be from advocating your time, your priorities, to setting boundaries, and a lot of other things. We also talk about personal finance, we talk about financial literacy, we talk about the entrepreneurial side, we talk about a million different things, and like how you can show up, how you can represent yourself. And day to day, I mean, if you can't tell by how excited I am, I love our internship program. I did not realize how much I adored our program and how proud of it I was until an OR fellowship Women's History Month panel, when I had two interns who had joined for the panel. They were sitting front row. They were so excited to be there. Sarah and Mackenzie, adore the two of you immensely forever. And they'd ask, "What are you most proud of?" And I was talking about our internship program. And as I was looking at them and they were looking at me, I started crying, and I was just beside myself. Not, they were happy tears, obviously, but I'm so honored. And I continue to be so honored to be a mentor and to be somebody that tomorrow's leaders get to look to and lean on as they're figuring out what kind of leader they want to be, what kind of life they want to live, and how to work through all these nuances of life. Because I think life is less of work life balance and it's more of finding a dance that sustains you and is sustainable for your life. And it's hard to see work and life separate when the two of them naturally blend together in so many different ways. And so I'm still answering the question, what do you do? Other things that I do for the magazine include like talking to partners. I do a lot of selling for our partnerships. So side plug, if you want to support this incredible internship program I just shared and our mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone, please let me know. You can drop me an email at hello@moremagazine.org. Additionally, I curate a lot of our content. In the past, we've had interns who want to explore a creative director role. So we've had interns who have helped with some of that curation and then gotten to oversee the project of an article. So working with a writer, working with a photographer, maybe a model, maybe makeup, maybe a stylist, all these different things to bring it together into this story that people get to see and hold in their hand. Um, I have the honor of helping and supporting Chloe Price, who is our podcast host. She lets me jump on here for these founder to founders once a month, and I am grateful. But I get to help connect her with different people and be kind of a content sounding board for her as she curates incredible interviews and stories and voices that she gets to share on the platform as well. And overall, I mean, I always, if I am struggling with understanding the next step for our business or exploring different avenues to grow, I always come back to our mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone. And at the core of it, that's what I think I'm doing day in and day out through the internship, through our partnerships, through our nonprofit neighborhood. That is what I want to do. I want to serve, and I think that when you own your own business, you get to do what you want to do in addition to the things you have to do. But what I want to do is to serve, and I am very fortunate that I get to do that or feel like I'm doing that every single day. My ear's itchy. Okay. What are we at? 13 minutes? Okay. All right, next question. How do you manage your time? So, sometimes it surprises people. The magazine, this media company, is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job that I love. I have an awesome team. I love what I do. I get to use my brain in different ways literally every single day. And the question of how do you manage your time? How do you keep track of all these different things? How do you make time for your mentoring sessions once a week and your team meetings and interviews, etc.? And I think I have let go of the phrase "I don't have time," and I've really embraced "I make time." I don't even want quotes around it. No quotes. I make time. I make time for the things that will move me forward, for the things that will move my goals and priorities forward. And when I do that, my time is managed very well because I'm recognizing that I don't have to do everything right now. And maybe, hot take here, not everything is a priority. There are a lot of things I would like to do. There's a lot of things I need to do, but I get to choose what a lot of those things are and which buckets they live in, because it can be very, very easy to be the entrepreneur who is waking up at 5 and going to bed at 2 a.m. because you are trying to get every piece of life in. I am right there and I hear you, I see you. It is not easy. And I'm not saying any of this as if I just woke up and did this. Me waking up and going to a 6 a.m. workout class was 2 years in the making. Me, not a morning person. I was definitely up until 2 a.m. hammering stuff out and then praying that I would actually wake up when my alarm went off the next day. That is not who I am anymore, and I'm so grateful for it because I'm recognizing that I cannot sustain something like that personally. I think early on, or maybe in different seasons and different inhales, exhales of life, I know I need to put my nose down and get things done. During launch, I do work crazy hours. I'm getting images in maybe 2 weeks after the deadline. I'm getting confirmations last minute for a thing that goes to print in one day. So, launch weeks, I give myself grace and I try to, again, though, make time for what I'm going to need to do to make that happen. And so I'm not scheduling as many happy hours. Maybe I'm not seeing my friends as much as I want to that week because I have this really big thing coming up that then they're going to come to and I'm going to see them later anyways. So it doesn't even matter. But you get to choose what your day looks like to an extent. And of course, I am saying this as a woman who does not yet have kids. I have 2 dogs. They require some things of me. I have to make them food. I have to make sure they go outside, or I'm cleaning up the inside, which is a bummer in its own right. But I'm also a partner to somebody and I want to show up for him and be there for him and hang out with him. And I think sometimes when you are a business owner, you can get very tunnel visioned and focus in only on the job. And that's what it becomes. It becomes a job and less of a passion. And I am somebody who has always wanted to have a job that I love, a career that I love. And I think there's finding a balance with that, certainly, and recognizing that your business, your job does not have to be your whole identity or a marker of your worth. A lot of self work has gone into where I am today. But when it comes to managing my time, I look at my annual goals and then I break it down to what do I need to do in order to achieve those goals. And when I go through and I look at my week by week or my month by month or my quarter by quarter, I'm thinking about what is it that I need to do to get to that end goal. And I am not somebody who needs immediate gratification, but I do need milestones because I think it's very hard to set goals for yourself and expect yourself to go from point A to point B immediately. That is hard. And that is a pressure that I was putting on myself that I realized I didn't need to be. And there's a couple of my favorite YouTubers who talk about time management or productivity in a way that is more holistic than I feel like we normally talk about. And I'll include some of those in the show notes or in the description below. But as I've gotten older and I've wanted just to spend more time with family and really wanted to focus on what is the end game, and my least favorite question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? My answer is happy, healthy, and safe and loved. I want it to be 3, but it's 4. And when I think about me in that setting, I mean, I'm already there. But when I think about continuing to feel like that and what do I need to do or continue doing to get there, that's really, really grounding for me and helps me to manage my time better. Because when you look at your sum of all the parts, it kind of helps you see what is actually on fire and maybe what will be on fire soon. So that way you can start planning ahead and planning for what will be priority today, tomorrow, next week, and so on. Other question that falls in line with that is, do you want the magazine to be your full-time job? If my full-time job is watching, keep watching, it's fine. I used to want the magazine to be my full-time job, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs, the dream is to work for yourself, and I think that's a beautiful dream. It used to be my dream. I feel like it's less my dream now. I am so blessed and so fortunate to be in a position that I am thoroughly brought so much joy every day. And so I think having a career that beautifully blends with my business and what I love to do is an incredible, incredible thing. And so at this point, I don't see it being my full time job or wanting it to be my full time job as long as I continue to be in a space where I have the capacity to serve. If I lose the capacity to serve or to be in community, then maybe that will be reevaluated. But at this point, I'm able to do both of these things very, very well. And I love it. So, short answer on that one. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm going to ask the question. I mean, all these questions are questions I get a lot. So, like, this isn't like the most asked, or now that you've stayed to the end of the interview video, wherever you are watching, listening. No, I'm not going to hook, line, and sinker you with that one. But I think a lot of business owners and a lot of people always want to just learn from one another. So I'm often also asked, what is the biggest lesson you've learned, or what is something you wish you knew before starting a business? And I'm smiling. If you can't see me on Spotify, I think about that meme that says, well, actually, this is my first rodeo. And I love it so much because there's so much of life where it is our first time doing something, like giving grace to your parents because, well, it is their first time they are parents, and giving myself grace as I've started a business because this is the first time I've started and run a business. And there's a million instances, and it's not to excuse repeated offenses because, again, you should learn and then know better and do better. But I do think if I could go back and tell myself one thing, or the biggest lesson that I've learned, is that it doesn't have to be perfect the first try. I'm going to do my damnedest to make it as incredible as I can. However, it might not be exactly to my specs, and that's okay. I recognize that I'm a growing individual, and I would love to be someone who continues learning every single day of my life. I get so much joy from learning from other people, learning about new perspectives, learning about literally anything. I'm here for it. And so when I think about what is something that I would tell myself, it would almost be a reminder, because I think we're often told that it's okay. And whoa, now that I just said that, I am thinking back to 2020 and 2021, and my mantra, phrase, whatever, if you will, for that year was actually, it's okay, I'm okay. Um, and I think recognizing that the fire that you are in this moment is not going to burn forever, and knowing that you're going to come out on the other side of it. Because when I tell you, like day 0.5 of having the business, having the magazine, and trying to figure out how to ship all of these magazines to everyone, and realizing I hit the wrong button at 2 a.m. when customer service was not available, and then finding out that everyone had received a notification email that their package was on the way. Stressful. I was so stressed out, and it was so silly because it ended up working out. And if I could have just like given myself 2 beats before I started mentally beating myself up over that, that would not be such a rough moment to look back on. I heard it in my voice just now, like it stresses me out to think about it. But I know now, and now I do my shipping labels while I'm walking on the treadmill. Like it is not that big of a deal, and it's going to get done and it's going to happen. And even though I clicked the wrong button, there's going to be a solution somewhere. And I will leave you all with that, to give yourself grace, to remind yourself that you are doing your best. And sometimes your best is going to look different on different days, and that's okay. So, thank you so much for joining for this fun founder to founder with just me in my office and allowing me to show up as I am. I was going to do this the other day and I was all dressed up, hair, makeup, fit, it was checked. And the day just didn't turn out like that. And as I was thinking about what you all like, I laughed because I was like, everyone likes to see behind the scenes. So we're just going to show up as we are today and roll with it. So, thank you so much for joining me in my natural element. This is going to be cleaned up. It's on my to-do list. It's on my bingo list for June. So this will be so much better here shortly. But it is a blast, as always, to be part of the content you are consuming, and I am grateful for it. So please head to our website soon. You'll get to meet our summer team of interns. And yeah, I mean, nothing else to do here but sign us out. So